Welcome back to this funktastic episode of
Family Meeting.
My name is Matt Glass.
And I'm AJ Tenari.
And this is Family Meeting, the show where AJ and I eat a lot of food and then on the verge of a food coma decide to record something for this show.
That's exactly what we do on this show.
Like almost every single, I think the last like 4 times that's what we've done. And it always makes us really tired and drowsy, but
that's the point.
yeah, it's laid back.
It's the low-key show.
We're method acting, well, in real life without a script. Never mind.
And we're doing this for you.
Yeah, for you, yeah. For the good of the entertainment.
Be grateful.
I don't know if you heard by that intro, but there is a theme to this episode. We're talking funk.
That we are.
We're talking funk albums.
That we are, because we are the family album.
We are the funky bunch.
Marky Mark will not be making an appearance.
No, he will not be making an
that
appearance.
Dude sucks.
Like, people don't make appearances on Family Meeting, but he especially will never make an appearance ever.
And since there's no edits, he can't make an appearance.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I think we've been good at sealing off all the entrances to the bunker so that not a lot of things make entrances, except
Exactly.
the goblins, you know?
The infestation has followed us from the previous studio, which is a little annoying, but we make it work.
Less Gargunga bogs, more goblins.
Yes, that's what season 3 is all about.
That's what I want for my family-friendly podcast. But in terms of talking about funk albums, guest and friend of the podcast, Ben Masholi, he thought it would be a cool idea if we, for some of our family meetings, took a genre and then picked 5 albums that we just automatically think of when it comes to that genre.
So debuting this concept, we're doing funk.
Yeah. We were trying to figure out what genres we'd want to do. We thought rock, but rock would just be way too big of an animal to do.
We also thought maybe doing like individual with like more niche genres that either Matt or I like prefer, but then we decided a mutual one, which is funk.
It might change in the future.
Yeah.
Hopefully we have more family meeting ideas that are simple yet effective as this in the future. But nothing much more as a precursor to say, I feel like.
Yeah, we just got some albums to talk about.
These are in no particular order for me,
Same.
at least. I think before we get into it, want to just recommend a funk album that I've been really fucking with.
All right, what do we got?
This actually released this year.
Okay.
It is called... I realized I never actually learned how to pronounce this name.
Is it Renaissance by Samandi?
It is exactly Renaissance by Samandi.
Hell yeah.
That's actually insane. Yeah, it is literally that album.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a really good album.
It's fucking
up there for
awesome.
me.
Great comeback album.
Yeah.
For a UK fucking
Legacy funk band.
It's wow. Is it? Wait, it's one of your 5?
It's not one of my 5, but I think it's in my top 10 of 2025.
Is it Samandi?
I think it's Samandi.
Okay, I've been
Yeah.
pronouncing it Simand.
Yeah,
Which sounds like a villain from Teen Titans. I'm Simon.
I can see him teaming up with Gizmo,
Yeah,
wreaking havoc.
good old Gizmo.
But I think it is Samandi.
I love this album a lot. Road to Zion has been like a frequent one for me. Whatever the intro is called, the one with just like the really fucking fat bass. That one's fucking amazing. Chasing an Empty Dream. That's the intro one. But also Coltrane. Coltrane is the one that I really fucking like.
Coltrane rips.
It's got just like very serviceable vocals, just some really, especially like whatever the female vocalist song is. There's like a slow female vocalist song, and it's fantastic. I've listened to this album, and it's been an instant mood booster for me.
Yeah.
Because it's also cool because it's like rooted in like a lot of Afro spirituality, kind of like lyricism. And I think it really works. If you're just in for a good time, something really vibrant and upbeat, yet also like pretty decently paced, I think it's a good time.
I agree. That's definitely one of my favorite things I've listened to so far this year.
Of this year, yeah, I would agree. It's been kind of climbing my list a little bit.
Before we hop in, I have some honorable mentions as well. These are some classic funk albums that I thought could have made the cut, but upon listening to like 4 of these, I kind of had locked in. It was just like really finding that 5th one. So a bunch of these I kind of went through to see if they would make the cut, but they unfortunately didn't, because I think this 5th one like really earns the spot. But I have There's a Riot Going On by Sly and the Family Stone, Street Songs by Rick James, Nasty Gal by Betty Davis, 1999 by Prince, and Mothership Connection by Parliament. All phenomenal funk albums that are deserving to be on this list as well, but I just prefer these other 5 a little bit better.
Nah, I mean, very great almost additions. Especially the Sly and the Family Stone one.
Yeah.
Because holy shit, that is a good one. I've listened to like bits and pieces of their discography. I don't think I've ever listened to a full album of theirs.
Yeah, I feel like that album specifically, I'm not the biggest fan of. Like, I like it, but I don't really quite get the hype around it as much as others. So I think I just mentioned it more so out of legacy and respect than like personal interest.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, do we both just want to take turns doing
5,
an addition?
5, 4, 4.
Yeah.
Works for me.
That's actually, Matt, what is 5/5 possible as a time signature?
I mean,
I guess
I have
any
no idea.
I guess any odd meter might be possible.
yeah, because
But is there like there's not a note that's a 5 beat though, is there? Unless it's like a quarter
Like a
note
dotted-
with like a dotted
dotted
quarter night. Nope.
good night.
Quarter night. A dotted quarter night.
That question of the week is 5/5 possible.
Excuse me, I just turned into fucking 2D from Gorillaz real quick. But anyway, do you want to just
Hop right into it.
Yeah. Hey Jay, give me one of your albums.
One of my albums. We'll start with number 5. This is probably my favorite album that's on the list here. We have Headhunters by Herbie Hancock.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I fucking adore this album. It's one of my favorite funk albums and probably my all-time favorite jazz album ever released. Herbie Hancock does wonders, blending the freeform nature and precise musical technicality of jazz with the absolute vein-melting grooves and strutting rhythm of funk, culminating in one of the best albums ever made. In only 4 tracks, Hancock and the Headhunters proved themselves as a tour de force in the music world, with extremely tight musicianship, out there experimentation that changed the game in the 70s, and just this infectious energy that keeps you moving every minute. And it also introduced 2 jazz classics, being Chameleon and Watermelon Man. Very standard cover songs for a lot of jazz bands to do, and Herbie Hancock brought that to the world. I'm not going to get into like too much detail on the tracks specifically, as this is an album I kind of want to bring on the show at some point.
Okay, cool.
Because I do quite enjoy this, either the regular format or Tom Hates albums, depending.
Honestly, that'd be so sick. One of these is also a Tom Hates albums contender.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I've ever actually listened to this one. I know I said it was a good one, but I might have actually been thinking of a different one.
The different Herbie Hancock.
Potentially, yeah.
Gotcha. I mean, he has a few good ones, but this is like his like most famous one.
I've definitely heard his stuff like just mixed into my Spotify DJ. So
It's a good fucking artist to get into. Specific shoutouts for instrumentation, of course, go to Hancock's impeccable performance on the keys, Harvey Mason's filthy drum work, and Benny Maupin's versatile and creative woodwind performance. I say of all the albums on the list, this one is definitely my favorite, but it's probably the least funky out of all of them. But there's still plenty to keep you grooving, especially the Sly Stone tribute track with the chugging drumline and organ riff. Overall, if you haven't listened to this album, definitely check it out. It's a really good intro to jazz as well as funk.
hell yeah, man. I'm just gonna pick just a random one. I didn't even number them. That's how lazy I am for family meeting.
Hey, that's what the show's all about.
I'm doing this for all of you. Okay,
Just remember,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So first one that I will mention is Seashells by Mayoshi Takanaka.
Oh, fuck yeah. Nice.
Nice blend of city pop and kind of tropical, but also just still bringing the straight funk. This album I feel like really hit me at a good time in like my chill funk journey. Super like peaceful, very groovy, but like kind of cheeky at the same time.
Yeah.
Tango Suerte has been a like consistent, like I throw that on when I'm sad, when I'm happy, when I'm angry.
It's versatile.
You ever see a man angrily listen to Tango Suerte?
I can never say I have.
Hey, listen.
And I've never been that man.
Honestly, neither have I. I was just naming emotions that I knew offhand. I feel like this album is just really cool because it's just supposed to be a nice, like, bright and cheery, yet, like, not too overly, like, paced album. Yeah. It's one that I feel like in my city pop journey, it's cool to get, like, some straight funk, you know? Some of the names are in Japanese, so I do have to actively translate them.
Nice.
Let me see. Goodbye, Fuji-san. That's like the third to last one. Tropic Birds, another one that's like my favorite. To the Mirage Island. I didn't even know that's what it was called until I just translated it right now.
Yeah.
That's track number 3. Those are 3 standout ones for me that I feel like just bring the funk, you know?
with that classic Takanaka guitar flair.
I love the way he plays guitar, especially just so like rhythmically, just with the wah like so perfect.
Smooth as fuck.
He also has like this implementation of like these female backup singers that like appear throughout the album, and it's just a fun, like, it's just a good time.
It's a good peaceful album.
I love the
Feel good.
I think it's after Tango Suerte. It's the that one's so good. Oh my god.
I think my favorite Takanaka project is An Insatiable High. That's one with Love ESP. That one's really fun. But he's got good stuff all around. So definitely check him out if you want the more kind of Japanese city pop side of funk. He's got a lot of good stuff.
Before we continue on our list, I just want to say, when making mine, I found that it was really hard to find like a straight like funk solely album that was just funk. I feel like funk is one of those things where it mixes so well with other genres that like all my additions are like combos.
Yeah.
Where it's still enough funk, but like there is a lot of another.
Yeah, it's not primarily just solo funk.
Yeah. But I guess all music's kind of like that when it comes to genres. They kind of just blend a little bit.
A little bit of bleed from other stuff.
You could get like Metal and Imagine Dragons and then make Sleep Token.
And then it's the best band of all time, led by the best vocalist of all time, Vicious.
Vessel, right?
It's Vessel.
I love how we're just we barely care what his stage name is, honestly, and that's how it's gonna be.
I can't believe I gaslit myself into thinking he was actually named that. That's so funny.
I'm still not convinced that his name is actually Vessel. Like, as far as I'm concerned, it's vicious to me.
Yeah.
But AJ, before we prattle on too much about that, what is the fourth album you want to mention?
Fourth album I have is a relatively new addition, but a fucking welcome one to my funk journey. And that is Go For Your Guns by the Isley Brothers.
Ooh, okay.
I've been on an Isley Brothers kick. It's probably since like February.
Tim.
Yeah. But they're fucking good, man.
I've heard.
They're really, really good. This is definitely my favorite album that I listened to by them. They're a staple in like the funk world as well as like hip hop, especially in terms of sampling.
Yeah.
So this is a great place to start. Just kind of like get your feet in the water of like what kind of stuff they do, and also kind of like notice where certain samples come from.
Oh, where they come? I was just about to ask. It's like people get samples from their music.
Yeah.
Okay, I was confused.
I gotcha. I phrased that poorly.
It's okay. No, I'm slow.
It's okay.
Food coma. Remember?
Exactly. I'm kind of struggling myself too. But this album is the one that has the sample for Them Changes.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's called Steppin' in the Dark, I believe, is what this track is called. Footsteps in the Dark. And this was also sampled by Ice Cube for, I forget what the song is, like Such a Great Day or something.
Okay.
But the Isley Brothers have been a repeat for a while. This is definitely my favorite project of theirs. I think like while any of the big albums they released from their 70s run could be included on this list, I feel like this is kind of the culmination of just what makes this group really good. Like Ronald Isley's vocal performance is excellent on every track and commands your attention, blending the more aggressive rock-influenced funk of The Pride and Climbing Up the Ladder with the silky smooth, tender ballads of like Footsteps in the Dark. But either way, you're grooving to both. And of course, the star of the show is Ernie Isley's guitar work. The tones this man uses will actually make your skin fall off. Whether it's the somehow smoothly crunchy chorus riff on Tell Me When You Need It Again, the iconic vibey ethereal riff on Footsteps in the Dark, and the absolute glorious wailing crescendo that is Voyage to Atlantis. This album also exemplifies what I love about the genre. It's just so concise and very tight. In 7 tracks, you get everything you need without a minute wasted. Very tight musicianship, absolutely nasty riffs, melodies, and solos, a captivating vocal performance with lyrics about regret, resilience, and realization, and just an overall condensed, amazing funk experience in about 35, 40 minutes.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. I really need to give them a listen because I know Tim has talked about them so much.
Yeah.
And I feel like they are like one of the sort of cornerstones of where a lot of our music is today, from what I've been hearing from like you and Tim and like some other music outlets that I turn my ear to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will definitely have to check that one out for sure.
Hell yeah, man. I think you won't be disappointed.
So I guess the next one, this is more of a collection album because I feel like their discography is a little bit all over the place, if I'm being honest.
Gotcha.
But this is kind of a nice like collection of all of their stuff. I've mentioned them on here before, I believe for like my top 10 albums of 2020, maybe 3. Yeah, I think it was season 2.
Yeah.
Like the end of
2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is which we intend to
Oh, hell
cause
yeah.
havoc.
Nice.
I believe it's kind of hard history-wise where this falls. I'm pretty sure, from what I'm gathering, it was released in 1997 and reissued in 2024.
Okay.
But it is sort of like this throw everything at the wall and it sticks kind of thing, where it has like some of their unreleased stuff, some of their like lesser known like B-side stuff, but a lot of really, really fun tracks that are just like combinations of crazy, like in terms of their bass work and their guitar work and rhythm guitar, and some vocals that like either wail or just kind of like, I don't know, like wail or scream, really. Not always though. Sometimes they just sing straight tones or with harmony.
But comment on which albums.
Comment on which
Yeah.
albums. Zango, I was thinking about Zango, but I felt like that one wasn't like as much funk. It was more like ethnic kind of
Yeah.
Afro beats. So I felt that this one was a better one because there's a track on here that got me into this album a lot, and that is Lazy Bones.
Very nice.
I fucking love that song so much. It is a frequent returner for me all the time because the guitars on that one are so nice. It's a little bit of a crunchy listen, so just be aware of that if you're like a massive audiophile.
More of a smooth fan.
A little bit. But it's got some good ones on here. Janet, Lazy Bones. Another one that I really love is Devil's Flight, because that one just kind of has like a really kind of crazy guitar riff. Yeah, their history and their discography is a little splintered, but on Spotify, I can go off of, it was a fun listen. A very long listen. It's like 3 hours.
Gotcha.
So
'Cause it's like a compilation album.
yeah, so it's like a pick and choosy album, but I would
Yeah.
recommend it to anybody who wants to check them out if they want funk with some Zam rock, which is kind of a combination of a few different genres.
Gotcha.
But they are an artist that I have very much begun to appreciate since listening to Zango by Witch.
Nice. I have listened to that album as well, and I did quite enjoy it, but I haven't really explored much besides that. So maybe I have to give this a listen, at least some of the stuff on there.
It's fun, yeah. I think a nice shuffled listen might be fun.
Yeah. DJ Roswell approach.
Yeah, a little bit of a crossfade. You're gonna
Bada
you're gonna-
bing.
Great time. But AJ,
Yes.
there's more.
There's 3 more albums to talk about.
Technically 6.
3 albums. Next up, I have the album that kind of eluded me in terms of my top 5. But once I re-listened to it, I knew I kind of had to put it on here. And that is Superfly by Curtis Mayfield.
Okay.
This is definitely one of the best soundtrack albums ever written that provides some pretty apt commentary on the drug crisis with some absolutely stellar groovy musicianship. And apparently it's one of the only few albums to outgross the movie it was written for,
Oh wow.
which is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. That must be a good testament to your musicianship, I feel like.
And I think it definitely earns that. I have listened to this album before, but the most recent re-listen to get on this list definitely kind of showed me how much how much I like this album. Because I listened to it like back in college, but I guess I didn't really remember it that much. But it's very memorable upon a re-listen. Mayfeld's buttery, soulful vocal performance really makes this album going through a variety of emotions to portray what he's talking about, like the more desperate emotional delivery on Little Child Running Wild and Eddie You Should Know Better, or the more enticing, almost seductive persuasiveness on Pusher Man. But that isn't to say the instrumentals are anything to scoff at, as they too make this album so incredible. I love the drums and aux percussion rhythms on Pusher Man, as well as the shuffling groove on No Thing on Me. The horns are a highlight all throughout, bolstering every track they're part of, like the accented hits on the title track and the swanky melodies on Freddy's Dead. The keys are also excellent, the bass lines are smooth, the string sections are absolutely glorious, and this album is simply fantastic. I'd say this is definitely another cornerstone of funk, especially in terms of movie soundtracks and blaxploitation films. So definitely check this one out if you're curious in terms of that realm of music.
I feel like a lot of yours are a lot more like
Classic
cornerstone, which is good. Because mine, I feel like, are fucking scattered all over the place.
Good variety. Good. All these different perspectives. We love it.
Say what you will, but we strive for variety at the Family Album.
That we do.
If you'll see that in the next month.
Oh, yes.
Oh man.
Our last block.
Matt,
what's your number 3?
My number 3 is an album that I just found in like the last few months or so.
Gotcha.
And I wasn't originally going to put it on my list, but I feel like it is just such a good addition. And I don't know, even though it came out like years ago, I felt like is above Psyman and is worth mentioning, but also it's pretty fucking good. It's called Naturally by Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings.
That's unfamiliar to me.
Yeah, no, it seems pretty like one of like offshoot, like just your not run of the mill. I don't want to say run of the mill at all. Just like kind of not as popularized like funk soul albums.
Gotcha.
It's a female vocalist by the name of Sharon Jones, and she is fucking wicked.
Nice.
I really enjoy her stuff a lot. I think this might have played while I was at work. I'm not really sure how I came about it, but this album is such a treat to listen to at 40 minutes. How Do I Let a Good Man Down is a great intro. My personal favorite is Stranded in Your Love, because it features a guy named Lee Fields who plays like this male love interest to the female like main singer, and they're kind of like talking back and forth about how shitty their relationship is, and it's a really nice playoff. And that's why I think I really like it, because it plays around with a lot of its themes, and I feel like having like a female funk vocalist is also pretty fucking cool.
Hell yeah.
She just can deliver through and through with between her like soulful vocals and like just her awesome soulful vocals.
Exactly.
That's all I need to say.
Everything about it.
This Land Is Your Land is another one, because it kind of talks about how it's like, yeah, except for us, because we're black people, you know what I mean? Like,
I love that commentary.
It's like, yeah, this land is your land. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Except for you. But yeah, that's a really, really good one. How Long Do I Have to Wait for You? That's another one that I really, really like. This one is also difficult because I play this one a lot, but it's in my car. So half the time I'm like, which one is which?
I see.
But I do play this one a lot in my car.
What year did this come out?
See, Spotify's not great for that.
Gotcha.
Give me a sec, family heads. So it's saying 2005, but I'm having a hard time believing it was 2005.
I see. Sounds older.
Yeah. Like a lot older. Unless they made it to sound older, there's like no information about this album.
Gotcha.
Like at all.
Well, I guess it's a hidden gem then.
Yeah, no, they're from the 1960s to mid 70s.
Okay.
So like,
I guess that's like a reissue then.
yeah, probably. They probably got a bit like lost in the scene.
Yeah.
Because they're a New York-based band.
I see.
So, if you're looking for a pretty well-purposed funk soul album, I would say give it a listen, because it's been a frequent car ride album for me.
Hell yeah, man.
So
Definitely have to check it out.
Sharon Jones is a fucking awesome vocalist, and y'all should check her out.
Nice. Next up, my number 2, we have Honey by the Ohio Players. Like the title implies, this album is short and very sweet. I think of... I made a noise, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
The food coma. It's hitting, dude.
It's rising again.
I think of all the albums on my list, this album has my favorite ballads in terms of funk, with James Williams, Billy Beck, and Leroy Bonner delivering incredibly intimate performances that embody the more sensual nature of funk, including my favorite track on the album, Sweet Sticky Thing. I love the layered vocal performance that hooks the listener with the accented hits on each stanza, as well as the absolutely hypnotizing saxophone solos that are peppered all throughout the track. But that's not to say this album doesn't rock, as there are still plenty of bangers, like Fop, which is this bombastic, raucous love track that sees the horn section absolutely tear the track to shreds. Then there's the big single, Love Roller Coaster, which is just a classic funk track with an excellent vocal hook and fun vibes all around. I also love how this album is produced. It's so smooth, with each instrumental having so much weight. The musicians are all perfectly balanced in the mix with some crispy, smooth polish that makes the album worth listening to. Like the title suggests, this album is smooth as fuck and an excellent entry point into the world of funk. This is one of like the kind of first gateway funk albums I listened to, and one that I really kind of stuck with me. This one is definitely noted for Love Roller Coasters. That's like probably their biggest song. It was in the credits for a Bob's Burgers episode, which I think you might have heard. But yeah, I like this one quite a lot.
Wait, so it's Ohio by...
Honey by the Ohio Players.
Okay, sorry. Honey by the Ohio Players.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
It's more noted... I mean, it's definitely like well regarded within like the funk scene, but it's a lot more notable for its album cover, which has been regarded as like one of the sexiest album covers of all time.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. It's basically this naked woman like eating like a ladle of honey. Can you like send me that just so I know like not where to look?
Yeah, just really, really quick. Send me the Wikipedia article. Oh, interesting though.
But yeah, the music backs it up. It's really fucking good.
It backs up the cover.
It backs up the cover.
Good to know.
Smooth as fuck.
Oh, man. I will definitely check that out.
Hell yeah.
You're naming a lot of ones that I have not listened to, so I'm very intrigued.
And the good thing about funk is that a lot of these albums are pretty short because they're very concise tracks. They get right to the point. And Honey's a good place to start because it's only like 35 minutes.
One album that very much deviates from the typical funk that we've been talking about because it's a little bit on the newer side is more in the sampling sense of like what funk is and what it kind of turns into, and that is Mojo by Mojo.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Do you know the song where it's like, Lady, hear me tonight?
Yeah.
That's them.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's the album that song came from. Very much a fan of this album. Another one that I listen to in my car. Pretty much every single track on here is just a good old sampling time. Even the Lady Hear Me Tonight acoustic version.
Gotcha.
It's not bad.
I see.
It's not really funk, but it's not bad. Lady Hear Me Tonight obviously is one of them. Music Takes You Back Right Where You Belong. That one's a fucking banger. What I Mean, Roller Coaster. They utilize the samples in this way where, as much as like, if we were going to be talking about like the French house, like digital funk kind of scene, I was really tempted to try to finagle Daft Punk in there in some way.
Yeah.
But then I kind of felt like, although Daft Punk is great for a lot of things, and I love them so much, I kind of feel like in terms of just bringing the funk, this album like really kind of outshines them in that regard.
I gotcha.
Only because I feel like Daft Punk was really focusing more on like pacing out like the story, like for Discovery, for example. And like, I don't really consider Human After All a funk album.
No, it's more techno.
That'd be kind of scary if anybody considered it.
Yeah.
What's the closest thing to a funk album or song on that album? Prime Time of Your Life?
I get maybe the title track?
Prime Time of Your Life I feel like is more like just the Doctor Who theme, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
That's what it really just turns into. Yeah, I guess the title track, probably. Yeah. But Mojo is really cool. I feel like the bass work on this, because I don't think all of it is like sampled. I think a large part of it, like, or there are parts of it where they are playing like bass and stuff like that. They're kind of not a very well-known duo. Yeah,
I didn't know that. I just knew the song.
Especially since they got very much outshined by their competitors at the time. But it's a really good album. I really love the bass work on Lady Hear Me Tonight. It like once it all like kind of comes into fruition, and while it does utilize like this sort of repetitive loops, I feel like it just every single song is just fucking headbanger after headbanger. I love it's after they have like the first track, which is called Acknowledgement, but then the next track is called Chillin', which is one that I've also very much come to appreciate in the last few weeks.
Hell yeah, man.
But yeah, no, I that was kind of the one that was like gonna deviate a little bit. I felt.
See. I mean, there are still definitely like funk elements. I guess one could argue that's more disco than funk, but those two genres go very hand in hand.
Yeah, one of them might even be more derivative of the other one.
Yeah,
technically. So like, I don't know. It was a bit of a stretch, but I kind of felt like in terms of like, if I'm trying to look for the funk, I feel like it works.
In terms of sampling.
Mojo.
Last up, my number one is Maggot Brain by Funkadelic.
I tried part of the reason why I feel like my stuff was not, was a bit all over the place.
Yeah.
I was trying to find any album that just wasn't that album that I knew.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I need to be different.
Have you heard it before?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Maggot Brain.
Yeah.
I also feel like though, what's the one with like Biologic Speculation?
Is that Cosmic Slop?
It might be, because I do like that album though. I didn't want to choose a Funkadelic album because I wanted to be different.
It is not that album. The reason I chose Maggot Brain, that's the reason why Parliament didn't make the cut, was because they go hand in hand, Parliament, Funkadelic. But I think Maggot Brain is definitely the more important one to talk about.
It's very good.
Yeah, I'd say without a doubt, this is one of, if not the definitive funk album that like everyone should listen to.
Yeah.
Basically, in terms of everything that I mentioned about each of these albums before, Maggot Brain is the culmination of the best parts of each of them. In terms of lyrics and themes, this album is notable for its commentary on the world, the corruption of those in power, and the poisoning and sedation of the masses to prevent them from rising up. Instrumentally, this album is incredible, which you get a sense of from the nearly 10-minute guitar solo by Eddie Hazel in the intro that truly encaptures the darkness and turmoil of the world at the time and a larger-than-life expression of emotion through sound. Production-wise, this album sounds smooth with a layer of grit that really embodies the raw emotions presented all throughout this whole project. It's just a damn good fucking album. Its legacy kind of speaks for itself. Parliament Funkadelic is a really great legacy act, and this album is quite defining for the genre. So even though it is basic, I think it is deserving, especially for people who want to get into the genre. This is a good place to start.
I don't think it's that basic. I mean, listen, classic and basic don't necessarily need to be like
hand in hand.
Hand in hand,
yeah.
Or even anything wrong with it. I was just doing it because I was trying to challenge myself a little bit because
I see.
That was the only album that I was thinking of, and I was like, all right, just choose anything that isn't Maggot Brain. It's like the fucking white bear experiment or whatever it's called, where you ask somebody to think of a white bear, and then you just like can't stop thinking of a white bear.
Or like breathing on command.
Yeah. But yeah, Maggot Brain is great. Hit It Before You Quit It is probably one of like my favorite fucking just like. Because that's the one that's like... And you can see like a lot of the influence that's been pulled from that, especially on... the one I always point to is... whatever the fucking... I think it's Awaken My Love by Childish Gambino.
Gotcha, yeah.
He really pulls from that album a lot.
I see.
Not enough, if I'm being honest with you, but it's still good in its regard.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see like an album that has such a legacy, like have such an impact, I feel like, on a lot of our music.
Yeah, them and the Isley Brothers, I think, definitely kind of paved the way for a lot of like more modern funk and like hip hop artists. And you can definitely see the seeds that are sowed in society.
Well, I was kind of saving my most notable one for last, and that is more... It's funk, but it also leans into like the psychedelic rock, blues, and just like soul, maybe even acid rock. And that is Electric Ladyland by Jimi Hendrix.
There we go.
I am quite a fan of this album. I remember the first time I listened to it, it was On a Rainy Day, which was perfect because that's one of the song names.
There we go.
It's a great album, just like kind of crunchy to listen to now. So a remaster would be really, really cool. Whoever out there is listening.
The Hendrix estate.
Esquire. No, I really like this album a lot. The intro, just fucking, have you ever been to Electric Ladyland? I love like Jimi Hendrix's smooth, like sultry tones, both on guitar and in his voice.
Yeah.
Crosstown traffic when you're driving is a manic experience, but it's fun. I love the way he, like, with all this noise, fucking simulates, like, almost being in the middle of a crosswalk and getting hit by a car. Voodoo Child is epic. It's, like, almost 10 minutes, I feel like, and it's fucking... just, it goes on forever, but in, like, the best possible way.
Yeah.
Rainy Day, Dream Away is very, like, kind of, like, somber, but also, like, at the same time, just really... somber but also necessary.
I see.
Because I think with a lot of the chaotic moments on this album, it's like you like to have some of the come downs, and he's really good at varying his like energy between songs, I feel like. Long Hot Summer Night, Gypsy Eyes, Still Raining, Still Dreaming, all of them just really, really good tracks. It's a little bit over an hour, and yeah, I feel like if you're in for just a nice psychedelic rock experience with some funk, give it a listen. It's one of my go-tos when I'm just bored.
I've never listened to a full Jimi Hendrix album.
Yeah, they're fun. You know, I can very much see... I think a lot of them are pretty long.
Yeah.
So I can very much see, like, if somebody is against that, which usually I am, but with this one, I'm, like, not for some reason. I can very much see someone not, like, wanting to listen to it all the way through. Because this one, I want to say, like, two other ones... maybe actually one other one are like regarded as his best.
Is it Are You Experienced?
It might be,
one?
yeah. I am a fan of this album though. I don't think I've ever listened to Are You Experienced.
Yeah, I've never listened to either. So if you want to bring that on the show for either Tom Mates albums,
I was thinking about it. Yeah, either Tom Mates albums or maybe like beginning of season 4 or like one of the first episodes of season 4.
Could be fun.
But I do enjoy that one a lot. That was the one where I was like, this is the most notable one, and I'll save it for last. Just to make sure they're like, okay, does he know what funk is? It's more like psychedelic rock, I feel like, but it's
funk
cool.
elements, yeah.
Funk elements. It definitely was like one of the early ones.
Yeah, the early 70s.
But yeah.
pretty good list, I would say, from the both of us. A lot of different aspects of funk. I think I kind of stayed more traditional, but I like that you kind of went out of the box, picking what you did.
I tried to pick just any that wasn't Maggot Brain.
Yeah.
Or anything like popular, I guess. But ones with just like elements of funk, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see how like the classics kind of bled into the various zeitgeist and tapestries and facets and offshoots.
That ebb and flow
of music. Yeah.
Funk's a cool genre.
It's a very cool genre.
Definitely check it out. I think any of these albums that we mentioned are a good place to start. And then depending on what you like, in terms of like specificities of each album, kind of go from there to see what else sounds like that.
Also, we'll probably do another genre at some point in season 4. So if you have any recommendations of what genre you want us to try and do, let us know.
Yeah, maybe some vaporwave.
Let us know on at Family Album Pod.
Yes, our
on
Instagram that we have and use.
That you know what you should do? I should just make like a little jingle.
Oh, it's the Instagram jingle?
At Family Album Pod.
That's not a bad idea.
I'm not going to use that audio like I did with Tom for Tom Hates Albums because that's awful. But maybe I should do that, honestly, because I feel like we need to plug that more.
I like that. That's a good idea.
We being me, really.
I'll give you moral support for that idea, Matt.
Sounds good. Well, if there's nothing else...
Nah.
This has been a brief yet insightful episode of Family Meeting. We hope you enjoyed. As always, I'm Matt Glass.
And I'm AJ Tenari.
And this has been Family Meeting. We hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.